Nothing says I saved American ranchers like destroying American ranchers.
So I'm very happy about that. We're going to do something very quickly and easily on beef to get it down. The ranchers understand that. They're so happy for what I've done. I saved them. I don't think you'd have any beef in this country if I didn't do that. So we're very proud of that. Yeah, Brian?
Oh, this is rich. Trump sitting there in his gold-plated room, patting himself on the back about how the ranchers are so happy, how he saved them, how he wouldn't even have beef without him. Absolutely delusional. Because while he's jerking himself off about saving ranchers, the National Cattlemen's Beef Association, you know, the people who actually ranch cattle, released this. They're calling his plan the wrong approach that creates chaos and does nothing to lower grocery store prices. They're not mincing words here. They literally had to at the White House and beg him to stop screwing them over. They're asking him to let cattle markets work without interference. Translation: please stop pretending to help us while you stab us in the back. And Merriweather Farms, they called it exactly what it is, an absolute betrayal to the American cattle rancher. Not disappointing, not concerning, betrayal. So here's what actually happened. Trump's tariffs jack up beef prices. American ranchers can't compete. His solution? Import cheaper beef from Argentina to undercut American ranchers he claims to love, while prices still don't drop for consumers. Everybody loses except Argentina. This is what you voted for, MAGA. This, the guy who wrapped himself in the flag and promised to protect American workers, is selling out American ranchers to cover for his own failed trade policy. And the kicker, the ranchers screaming about this, a lot of them probably voted for him. Twice. He does not care about you. He cares about the headline. He cares about the photo op. He cares about being able to lie to your face and say, I saved the ranchers, while they're literally behind him yelling, no, you didn't. But please, tell me again how he's the champion of the working class. I'll wait. Spoiler alert. He never was.
President loves our ranchers, and our ranchers love our president. And in fact, the president did a lot for them in his first term here. They are struggling because of the many horrible policies of the previous administration. The president loves our ranchers, and he also loves American consumers, and he wants to do right by both. So the immediate solution to the problem of the rising cost of beef, the president wants to bring that down, is we have to increase our supply. And so that's what he's doing with respect to these imports.
While farmers lose billions, yeah, that's with a B, beef prices are getting higher. I know what we're going to do. We're going to buy it from Argentina. Yeah, right? Fuck y'all farmers.
Beef price is down. The only price we have that's high is beef, and we'll get that down. And one of the things we're thinking about doing is beef from Argentina.
So not only did he bail him out with $20 billion and then try to raise it to $40 billion, now he's literally telling you out loud, instead of buying American homemade beef, pause, I'm going to go to Argentina and get that beef. Pause again. This OD is almost as egregious as the shit he's pulling off, and y'all gonna sit there and move the goalposts and somehow defend it.
What happened to America First? Farmers are already struggling because of his trade war with China. Worker shortages are caused by his immigration policies, skyrocketing cost of feeds and fuel. And now, instead of helping them recover, Trump wants to bring foreign beef from Argentina in the belief that it's going to lower beef prices in the USA. And many said that this is a slap in the face, you know. It is a proof that those America First slogans, they were never about really putting about American farmer first. So let's have a look, and kindly hit the subscribe button and share your thoughts in the comments, all right? Let's dive into it.
Donald Trump is now blaming farmers and ranchers for high food prices, suggesting they don't understand their business as well as he does. Now, as you know, food prices across the board are rising quickly, with beef in particular going sky high. And Donald Trump has done little to address these prices except slap on more tariffs and import beef from Argentina. Well, Trump has received pushback by farmers on this, and Trump has responded by saying cattle ranchers don't understand that the only reason they're doing well is because of the tariffs. It would be nice if they would understand that, but they also have to get prices down because the consumer is a very big factor in my thinking also. That's right, cattle ranchers. You're the reason beef is high. You've raised your prices too high, and what you need to understand is that it's Donald Trump's tariffs are the reason you're doing well, and now you need to lower the prices for the American consumer. The President of the United States is not blaming his tariffs. He is blaming the American food producers for the high prices. This is the current state we're in.
Man, fuck them farmers. First it was soybean coming on here bitching and moaning, and now it's all the cattle ranchers. They're talking about Argentine beef, and why would we buy Argentina's beef? We need to sell the beef here. Dear DEER, Mr. President, why are you doing this to us? We voted for you. You know what? I have good news for the cattle ranchers, though. It may seem like a dark time, but I have good news. The silver lining is maybe at the end of this, you'll be invited to the ballroom. Maybe you'll get to go to that $250 million ballroom. Maybe, just maybe, he'll invite your manure-smelling ass to the ballroom. And then all this will be water under the bridge, and you can go kiss your daddy's ass like you have for the last decade. Because Donald Trump is for the farmers. He's for the ranchers, right? Isn't that why he gave Argentina, America first? He gave Argentina $40 billion. Meanwhile, the price of beef skyrockets. Meanwhile, Argentina undercuts the price of soybeans so they can continue to sell to China. Meanwhile, China has cut off all trades for produce and agriculture with the United States. But the farmers would vote for him again in 2028. I thought farmers were supposed to know something. I thought they were supposed to be kind of smart and understand science and math and shit like that. But what I'm seeing is they're just a bunch of gullible asshats to vote for the same man who tried to bankrupt you in 2019, vote for him in 2020, and turn around and vote for him again in 2024. So I don't know what to tell you, but your sobs ain't worth a pitcher of warm piss. My give a damn is busted.
Donald Trump has already hurt farmers across the country, either through immigration policies or trade policies, with maybe the exception of corn farmers when he signed off that allows ethanol to be produced at an increased level year-round, including the amount put in our fuel. But now, he's hurting ranchers. And the beef ranchers in this country are notoriously petty. Do you remember when they sued Oprah because she said don't eat red beef? Well, now Donald Trump is planning on buying beef from Argentina to help the ranchers in Argentina and, in his theory and mind, to lower beef prices in the United States. He's going to bring live beef in from Argentina to the U.S. to lower prices. But the problem is there's nobody to process that beef because he has deported all of the workers. The people who worked at the meat processing plants across the country were overwhelmingly immigrants, and overwhelmingly they have left those jobs either on their own to protect themselves and their families, or they've been deported in raids. So I don't know where he's planning on this beef being processed. We don't even have enough processing power in the country to process the beef that ranchers in the U.S. want processed. But beef ranchers and senators for beef-producing states overwhelmingly are against this plan, and they're throwing a fit, with the beef industry saying that this would destroy the beef industry in the United States, that with the struggles that they're already going through thanks to immigration policies, that Donald Trump is on a path that would dismantle beef production in the U.S. if he continues with this plan to buy live beef from Argentina and import it in an attempt to lower costs. Once again, Donald Trump is proving that he doesn't care about the people that voted for him. He only cares about the people that pay him and the people that paid for him to get reelected so he could help make them more billions.
So I live in an ultra-conservative MAGA community. I was raised to be ultra-conservative and MAGA, but our community was actually built on cattle ranchers. And yes, every single one of these cattle ranchers in my community have been diehard MAGA. So I want to read the letter that Trump wrote to them. To the cattle ranchers, who I love that I was able to hoodwink for their vote. They are too stupid to understand that the only reason that they could possibly have any success is because I, Donald J. Trump, taxed them and their consumers with the tariffs that I placed on foreign nations. In fact, if it weren't for me, they would have to go back to doing whatever it is that they were doing before the days of cattle ranching. But it would be nice if they understood that. But these cattle ranchers need to get their prices down, because the truth is, I never cared about America first or the American farmer. If you don't believe me, just look what I did to the soybean market. I just sent $40 billion to Argentina to influence their elections. So that's why you, the American farmer, cannot have health care. And to the National Cattlemen's Beef Association, I read your response about how you cannot stand behind me. Well, I warned you, all you had to do was vote for me this one time, and that would be it. So thank you.
U.S. farmers really did themselves a number when they voted for Donald Trump. You would think that they'd be smarter, considering that they had already gone through 4 years of his administration. That was no help to them whatsoever. Well, now that they went and voted this fucking clown in, their farms are on the verge of being gone forever. And I am talking about farms that have been in families for generations. But it's really hard to sympathize with these people because they really gave no fucks about me or people of color or LGBTQ. So at this point, I really don't give a fuck about them either. And to add insult to injury, Donald Trump just announced that he is going to be getting beef for our U.S. citizens from Argentina, not the U.S. farmers.
You can't have food freedom when 4 companies own your dinner. And that's exactly where America is right now. 4 meatpacking giants, JBS, Tyson, Cargill, and National Beef control nearly 85% of the U.S. beef supply. They decide what gets processed, what gets labeled, and how much you pay. They've turned your food supply into a corporate monopoly, one built on imported beef, cheap labor, and foreign ownership. And yet, they want you to believe the system is working. Here's the reality. When 4 companies control the kill floors, the processing, and the labels, that's not competition, that's control. They can raise prices anytime they want, create fake shortages, and drop out the small ranchers who actually feed this country. You can't have food security when your food system is owned by global corporations that don't even live here. Every time they raise prices, they blame inflation. Every time ranchers push back, they call it market pressure. Meanwhile, real American beef is being exported overseas while we import the cheap junk and sell it back to our own people at markup. That's not a supply issue, that's a national security issue. The fix isn't another government program, it's you. Every dollar you spend with a local rancher breaks their grip a little bit more. Every freezer full of local beef is one less family dependent on corporate food. The packers can't control what you buy directly from the ranch, and that's exactly why they don't want you doing it. We don't need to reform the system. We need to replace it. One ranch, one freezer, and one family at a time. And that's real food freedom.
So, reading through and seeing the news. So not only has the Orange Mussolini given $40 billion to Argentina, but now to counteract the prices of beef, he's going to import beef from where? Argentina. What's in it for him? Number one, he's trying to get this man elected. But what's in it for him? Why is Argentina all of a sudden so important to him that he's helping them? And the farmers are pissed again because they've lost their soybeans to Argentina, and now they're about to lose their beef to Argentina. And you're mad, but you voted for it. And you hate us saying it. You voted for it. You voted for it, but you did. He jerked you around his first term. And it was like, Oliver, please, sir, may I have some more? And you went back. And guess what? If he ran again in 2028, you would have your hand out. Please, sir, may I have some more? And guess what? Some more is coming.
If you are involved in the beef industry, you probably well know that the market is down the limit today. With a few words from our president, we have watched everyone start to scramble, wondering what's going to happen. You know, American agriculture stood behind you, President Trump, and we put full faith in your ability to put America first, particularly American production, which comes down to the farmers and the ranchers that feed this great nation, that keep her free, that are the backbone. And as all of us wonder if the borders are going to open or what is going to happen, all of us are wondering a little bit about domestic agriculture. This is the first time in a long time that as cattlemen and women that we've actually been on top, where that banknote isn't going to be quite as hard to make. We don't want a bailout. We don't want all of those things. We want a free market. We want a market where we are actually getting paid a fair price, where we have the opportunity to keep up with all of the input costs that are going through the roof. You're going to make food cheaper, but what about our John Deere tractors? What about our pickup trucks, our trailers, our feed cost, our fuel cost? All of those things that we are still paying through the roof for. Just trying to make that banknote with a 8% interest rate has been beyond difficult for so many people in this industry. I am hoping and praying with all my might that as we wonder what's going to happen, and those few words that change everything for so many of us, that we will remember to put American agriculture first. Stand up for her. Keep her free.
Everybody's wound up today because Trump says we're going to import all this beef from Argentina. We're going to lower our beef prices because the beef's too expensive here. And I thought I'd throw my 2 cents in. First of all, it's not really a new thing to import beef. We've imported beef in this country for a long time. What is new, however, is the government getting involved because of the prices and saying the beef prices are too high. We're going to make a deal. We're going to buy a bunch of beef from Argentina, and we're going to undercut the American farmers and ranchers who are finally making some decent money. And that's just, it's a socialist mindset, if you ask me. That's not what I've grown up thinking as an American market, supply and demand. Where did that go?
American farmers have always been the backbone of this country, people who feed the nation, people who wake up before sunrise and working through the storms, and they are now being pushed to the edge. Under Trump's policies, the agricultural industry already took some of the hardest hits, His tariffs with China cost China, one of America's largest buyers of soybeans, pork, and beef, to cut imports drastically. So prices have dropped and farms have went bankrupt. Then came in his immigration policy that cracked down thousands of immigrant workers, people who are working in the fields, harvesting the crops, processing the meat, and keeping the rural economies running. So that labor shortage didn't just make food production harder, it made it even worse. And now, Trump's newest move to import beef from Argentina feels like adding salt to the injury, So farmers are calling it betrayal. They see a government that is willing to bail out foreign economies, then reward those foreign countries with new trade deals, while American farmers, they face a high cost, bankruptcy, drought, and smaller herds. So think about the irony here. His campaign slogan was always being put America first, yet this deal puts foreign producers ahead of U.S. cattlemen, who are barely holding on. So for many farmers, this isn't just about beef. This is about loyalty and survival. So the administration says that this is a long term to stabilize the prices of beef in America, claiming that cheaper imports will help reduce the cost of beef. But at what cost? Because when American ranches go out of business, those cheaper imports won't stay cheap for long, Foreign producers are going to control the markets, and these prices will go up again. And at this time, the U.S. won't have the domestic capacity to fight back. So this is a short fix that is going to have long-term collapse. And let's not forget that these farmers, they are the people who supported Trump overwhelmingly during the last election, believing in the promise that he would fight for rural America, defend agriculture, and rebuild small towns. But now, they are watching policies that destroy their farms, policies that favor their foreign competitors, over the people who build this country food supply. So across states like Kansas, Texas, Iowa, farmers are warning that if this goes through, American beef industry will never be the same again. Local cattle markets are going to shrink. Food supplies will lose business, and small town economies will crumble. So many farmers are now realizing that the promises can sound patriotic until they hit your wallet. So this isn't just about politics anymore. It's about survival. Because if the people who grow up your food cannot survive, the whole nation is going to suffer. Grocery prices will keep on climbing even higher. People are going to suffer even most. So this is going to have a long-term effect on the economy. So I hope farmers are learning something here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Have a good one. I'll see you in the next video.